Hey guys, I'm back with video 38 of 365. Oh my gosh, we're getting closer, kind of every day, just a little bit closer. So it's nighttime. It's 8:40 p.m. here, and oh man, it's been a day today. So I just got some juicy information that I can share from a commenter that loves to ask all kinds of awesome questions. So I really appreciate you as always. Um, so anyway, let me introduce myself. It's been a long day, so I was like, oh man, I've got to get my video done. So these questions came in at the perfect time. This last one, especially. But yeah, my name is Samantha. I'm a therapist, and I'm doing a video every single day to help me get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety, which this has helped so much. And I feel so much more confident on camera. I have never been confident on camera in my entire life. So it's definitely helped me become better in that way. So again, if you are having issues with social anxiety in any way, if you're scared to go to the store, I used to be scared to walk into places because I didn't feel safe. It was just like my nervous system was so programmed to feel unsafe, I guess, for so many years of abuse and all kinds of things that happened. I just associated people with being unsafe. So I just had to work through that over the years. And now especially now, I'm so much better at everything now, just from this YouTube experience. Really, it's just been crazy. It's just kind of given me that extra push I needed to kind of become a better me, a better version of myself. So I'm so thankful. Thank you all for watching and subscribing and supporting and everything. I'm just loving this every day. I put up another meditation today, and I've got a bunch more coming. So they're sounding really, really great from the guy who I have helped me make them. It's just awesome. So super fun. So yeah, this is video 38. I didn't have a plan tonight until these questions came in today. So I'm going to put my spectacles on so I can actually see, and I'm just going to read these. And then I'm going to read my reply. I thought that would be probably the easiest way because I've never been a teacher in my life. I'm a therapist. I have one-on-ones with people, and when I'm asked a question I don't really know the answer to, I kind of have to think for a long time on it, or I have to research it. I'm just not it's hard for me to think on the fly sometimes. I'll be perfectly honest. So I'm glad that these questions came in like this. I can answer them a lot better sometimes in this type of format than being on the spot. So I'm just better at this, depending on what the subject is. But this involves quantum physics. And so, oh my gosh, quantum physics is super hard for me to explain. So I'm really glad that I kind of got some research in to fully explain it. It's like, I know what these things mean to me, but it's hard to explain them to people. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. I'm definitely not a professor or a teacher. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So let me just read these to you, because I think this is awesome. And this is the stuff I'll be going into as I refine my voice more and more. The whole goal of this project for me, the first number one thing was for me to get on camera and kind of figure out what is my niche, where is my voice going to be the best, like the most potent way for me to get my voice out there, really. And to figure out what is it exactly that I want to talk about, because I have a million interests, or I had a million interests, and I was stuck underneath all the information I was searching through. And so this time I'm kind of like, okay, they say your niche kind of finds you as you speak. So that's kind of where I'm at. And so your questions really help because it helps me figure out what you guys are interested in. So if you guys are ever interested in something I'm not talking about yet, please ask a question, or send me an email or something, and I'll be sure to kind of do some more research on it. But the goal of this channel is really just to help you guys know that you guys can have and be anything you want. And it's mainly to get everybody out of their toilet thinking and into positive thinking, that actually creates a transformation for you. That's what I want. I want a disruption of your old way of thinking and create a new you, transform into the new you, not just, take care of symptoms and put a Band-Aid on symptoms. We want to create from the root level. We want to dig out that root and plant new seeds and water them every day. That's the goal. So, and I'm going to do that in many different ways, but this is just one way, since I have talked about law of assumption and quantum physics before. I'm really into all those subjects, but again, I'm still figuring out and refining how I can put all of these people that I've been researching for 10 to 20 years. I'm figuring out my own way of putting all of them together for you in the proper way that I think will be best for as far as what I can teach. So I'm not going to be perfect at teaching, but I will always be willing to do some research to point you in the direction of certain things. So I'm just going to read these questions and what I answered to them. And then I'll kind of give a little synopsis at the end. And then, then that'll be the video for today. So, because I don't want to talk for 5 hours, which I could. So we'll save that for a live sometime. We'll do a live someday where I answer whatever for you guys. But let's see. Okay. So I'm going to read the questions and then I'll read this one first. Let's see. Okay. So this might be out of order a little bit, but I'm just going to read them in my own way. So let's see. This one says, in video number 8, you mentioned if you read about the laws of quantum physics, you will learn how we are manifesting 24/7. Would you mind sharing this information? Not just pointing us to someone else, but it sounds like you truly know how it works scientifically. The secret, by the way, has no scientific evidence in it. That would be so much appreciated. So I love that question. And so let's see. To add, I'm asking for the evidence because you're telling us just to try it. But imagine if a doctor gave you a random medicine for an illness without any science behind it. There's science behind why naproxen helps inflammation, for example. I'm simply wondering where the science is for this stuff. And then another one was, so are you saying if I already see myself as a Mega Millions lottery winner, it increases the mathematical odds of my numbers on my ticket being the actual winning numbers? Are you saying the law of attraction increases the lottery's mathematical odds of lottery tickets for believers, quote believers? And then, so my response to this was this. So I said, hi, I absolutely love these questions and I appreciate you asking in such a thoughtful and honest way. Regarding the secret, you're right. It didn't exactly dive into peer-reviewed journals. But here's what I've learned as both a therapist and someone deeply fascinated by neuroscience, quantum mechanics, and human potential. Quantum physics at its core does suggest that the observer influences reality. The famous double slit experiment is often the starting point. And that was the first thing I learned was a double slit experiment in my courses. It showed that subatomic particles behave differently when they're being observed. And that was super cool when I saw that. I was like, wow, that is so interesting. That alone raised big questions about the role of consciousness in shaping reality. On the neuroscience side, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and others talk about neuroplasticity and epigenetics, showing that our thoughts, beliefs, and even feelings can change the structure and chemistry of the brain and body over time. That is backed by science. Now, does visualizing a lottery win change the literal odds? No, not mathematically. That part is true. But what it may do is shift your behavior, confidence, opportunities, and energy to line up with things you wouldn't otherwise notice or act on. Not magic, subconscious pattern recognition amplified by intention. I'm all about practical spirituality. My motto is always to try it, track it, test it. You become your own data. I've been saying that. You are your data. Create your own data. And then I said, someday I can go a little deeper as I get more comfortable explaining on camera. Tonight's video will be featuring you. Thanks again for your questions and genuine interest in all of this. Much appreciated. So that was amazing. And then the other question that came in too was one more question regarding how you say everyone is pure love. What about the truly bad people, the rapists, murderers, or con artists, and people who do shady business dealings, etc.? Do they deserve to talk to themselves with love as well? So I said, absolutely valid question. When I say we're all born as pure love, I mean that literally. As babies, we don't come in hating ourselves or others. We're programmed over time. Traumas, environments, beliefs, and pain layer over that original self. Some people end up so deeply disconnected from who they truly are that they do terrible, harmful things. But here's the thing, loving yourself doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. It means taking radical responsibility for your life and healing what created the pain inside you before it spills out onto other people. Most people doing awful things are acting out of unresolved trauma, fear, shame, or programming. That doesn't mean they're off the hook. Accountability and inner work can coexist. So yes, even the worst people would benefit from learning how to talk to themselves with love, because that's the only way to stop the cycle. Hurt people, as we've heard a million times. But healed people, they heal people. That's what I'm trying to be and help others become. And then I said I'll be including this tonight as well. So yeah, that was a loaded questions, loaded answers. So you might want to go back and re-listen to this a few times. I couldn't really explain it better than I answered that. I went into my doctoral program. It was a doctorate and PhD program that I actually did not finish. I was in the middle of writing my dissertation and I just couldn't write it, and it wouldn't come out of me. And I determined that I just wasn't aligned with the school anymore. It was kind of like a hurried program I went through, and it was all online, and I just wish I would have gone to somewhere in person so I could have done, I guess, more papers and just learned a little more in depth in certain areas, because there were certain classes I just probably didn't even care to take. But what attracted me to the school was Joe Dispenza was one of the on-staff professors. And it was all recorded. It wasn't like he was live, but it was all online courses, that you took. So I learned a lot about neuroplasticity and how we can change the structure of our brains through our thoughts. And he had actually, reconstructed his spinal cord injury through doing meditation for 6 weeks, 3 hours a day. And in his books, he talks about his process of doing that. And it's basically taking you out of your senses and kind of into your soul, if you want to just say that, like you're getting out of your material world into the quantum field. And basically the quantum field contains information that gets projected onto matter. So that's kind of what Joe Dispenza talks about. And I will be diving real deep into Joe Dispenza with videos. And probably, like I've said, I'll have maybe a PDF for people to follow, PDF for me to follow, so I'm not stumbling over words all the time. I'll prepare something before, kind of like this. I feel like this is how I best teach also. And I'm also learning how to be a teacher. So there's that going on. I'm learning how to work my camera. I'm learning how to work the lighting. Tonight, hopefully the sound sounds better than last night, because I figured out that I needed to take the receiver off of the camera and let it hang down, because when it's up on the camera, it was making that weird pulsing noise last night. I don't know if you guys heard that, but hopefully now we're totally better. And so I'm learning a lot of things all at once. And I'm learning how to just be on camera and be comfortable just being me and being weird and wacky all the time. So I will get better at this, and I hope that I can help you learn some of this in a more simple way. But I do want to address a couple of things. The funny thing about doctors is most of the people I know, they just trust what a doctor says, and they don't care about the science behind it. Some people do, though. I was just talking to a client about science backing up. We were talking about her vet, and she read about the science of this vaccine, and she was like, I don't want to give this vaccine, to my animal, and so, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't do the research. So it sounds like the asker of this question, you are into science, and I love that. So I think that's very cool. And let's see. Now, it makes me wonder, though, and this is debatable. This is something we can all debate. I would love to debate sometime. I'm putting stuff out there because I identify with some of this stuff, and I thought some of this stuff was way cool. So, but then you'll hear one thing, and then you'll hear the opposite of something. You'll hear, science says this, and then you're going to hear the opposite of it too. Naproxen, yeah, it may fight inflammation for some people, but others it doesn't. They've created a study of only a certain amount of people. Sometimes they don't even include men in their studies. Sometimes they don't include women. It depends on the body chemistry of the person that just happened to be there that day. And those studies aren't always correct. It's weird. And I learned that by creating my own study. I learned how the process worked. So I'm not just pulling all of this out of my butt. It's just kind of like, after so much research I've done, I've just determined that really none of it is real, if we want to call it that. I mean, it kind of isn't unless you do it yourself and you validate it with yourself. That's where I go to. I'm just like, I mean, yeah, there's studies and there's this and that, but again, everything can be subjective because some people don't care about that stuff. They care what works for them. And that's kind of, again, where I want to go back to self-sourcing. You know, you want to self-source. You want to try, like I said, where did I put that? The try it, track it, test it, and become your own data. I've said become your own data before. You know, create your own so that you know that it works for you. You know, because we normally listen to other people. And I think it's very valuable to take the gems. I tell my clients, I'm like, everything that we say in a session, it's like, you're going to resonate with all of it, none of it, some of it, you know, pull out the gems that resonate with you. And remember, the mental state that you are currently in is what you will perceive. So you may hear me say 10 things. 10 people may hear me say 10 things, let's say, and only like half of them are going to agree with everything and the other half may not, because some people may be in a different mental state where they can't even receive what I'm saying. That's another thing too. Or you might be able to receive what I'm saying because maybe you're feeling happier that day, or maybe you're believing more in the law of assumption, or I mean, it depends on your mental state. That is where you're perceiving your life from. And so as a therapist, I teach people how to, you know, go inside their mind and look at how are they defining things in their life? What definitions do you have attached to all of the events that you're currently kind of still living in, even though they're not happening now? It's from our, quote, past, our past self. And so I encourage people to figure out what feelings are associated with their thoughts. You know, we don't go into a lot of what I'm going into here, of course, but I do bring up Joe Dispenza sometimes for sure, because I mean, his stuff is like super interesting. You know, he talks about our thoughts that we thought yesterday, we're thinking today. They're creating, you know, our mental state all the time. You can definitely change your mental state in a second if you want to. And there's ways to do that. And I can talk more about that too. I just need to know what you guys are most interested in. And I will definitely keep creating, you know, content around that. But I love talking about spirituality in general. I love keeping it simple. And I think that's why I'm not against science at all, but I think that over the years I've been studying and I've been looking at every peer-reviewed journal. I've been looking at every book, every website, every this, every that. And I'm so tired of it, honestly. Like, I'm tired of it. So I kind of came up with, you know, the gems that I think are gems, you know, for me and what worked best for me. And then that's kind of what I'm teaching from. I'm creating my own way of teaching it. So thank you again for asking these questions, because it kind of helps me, again, refine what I'm trying to, you know, eventually, you know, say. And I'm creating my own framework, if you will. You know, I'm not going off of just what one person said. This is a conglomeration of a bunch of people that I've just really, you know, kind of looked up to, and I've valued what they said. And you know, some of it, yeah, I'd be like, oh, that's BS. You know, some of this sounds like BS. I mean, I get it, you know, I totally get it. But, you know, it's, again, you want to try it yourself. You know, this isn't taking naproxen. I'm not giving you a drug. This is totally your own mind. You get to decide what you do with your mind. I mean, you got total control over your mind. Well, that's the thing. I don't think we do have control over our minds. That's the thing. And that's what I want to help with too, is teach you how to control your mind, how to focus properly, and how to be aware properly of like what you're being conscious of during your moment that you're living, because we're in one eternal moment. So practice living in the now as much as possible. Some people can't do that very easily. So that's what I'm here for. It's just kind of like, as the days keep going on and the videos keep pumping right back out, you know, I'll be able to help in different ways that I don't even know about yet. So, but yeah, I might stop rambling now, but yeah, I just think that, I think that if you just decide to become, you know, your own data and have fun with this, really have fun with this and think about the possibilities. The possibilities are endless in this life, and we just don't believe it because society has taught us not to believe it. If we believed we were powerful, then we wouldn't need a therapist. I'd be out of a job. We may not even need YouTube. I don't know. But I feel like we just need each other because we're just doing it for fun. I mean, it's the process of it. It's when you manifest something, you've manifested it. It's no longer fun anymore. It's like, oh, well, what's the next thing? We're never done. It's a constant state of just manifestation. So I think it's so fun, and I love talking about this stuff. So I could go deeper and deeper into this, but I may go deeper into this stuff, but this was just kind of the overview of those questions. And I thank you so much for the questions. I so appreciate it. And you're getting my brain moving, and I was already moving today, and then it had to move some more tonight. So I appreciate you for, being, just asking the long questions, because somebody out there will need this information, but that was a baby step of explaining some of this. So I can go deeper into whatever anybody's interested in. And I just need some time to kind of refine it and get it, created in kind of my own voice. But yeah, we'll get there. Thank you for being on the journey with me. I mean, my brain is on fire every day. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, I'm just learning so much about people, myself. It's just amazing what's been going on this week, especially this week. This week has been a major, crazy, transformational week. So I just love this so much, and I appreciate you guys watching. And feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Leave me any kind of comments you want to leave, and I'll do my best to help you. I really, truly do just want to help people. And I'm just pushing along what I've learned and what's helped me, get through anxiety and depression in the past. And like I've said before, I was sexually abused as a child. I went through a sexual assault when I was an adult. So I am very aware of these bad, quote, evil people. But it's all about forgiveness too. Forgiveness is another topic we will talk about that is a very difficult one for people. And so we'll talk about all kinds of stuff, how emotions affect the body. And that's why I'm so adamant about changing your thoughts. Because if you just think a thought that feels better than you were thinking, you're on the path. You are the path, actually. You're not on a path. You are the path. You are the path. So if you're, if you have to pretend you're a freaking, T-Rex, do that if that makes you feel better, because it's going to help everything. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it just might work. So you should try it. So, well, I will let you guys go. I've rambled and rambled. So you got a good ramble for me tonight. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one tomorrow. And I hope you're doing well and fabulous, and hope you sleep well tonight if it's nighttime. If it's daytime, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.